Hello, my name is Nicholas Job, and I'm a 29-year-old living with cystic fibrosis. During 2020, there's been a lot of ups and downs for the entire world. For me, as a CF patient, I've had to take extra precautions to learn how to curb the risk of potentially getting infected with COVID-19. One thing is, though, I've been doing a lot of those things previously. I've been having to wear a mask. I've had to keep up with my hygiene. I have to be careful about getting the cold, flu, any virus. Now, the rest of the world is understanding what it's like to live with cystic fibrosis. Everyone's having to wear a mask. We have to social distance. We have to isolate. We need to be careful about spreading germs, bacteria, viruses. For me, personally, with cystic fibrosis and COVID-19, I've had to adopt some good hygiene. I need to make sure I practice social distancing. I need to wash my hands, wear a mask, and really think twice about going to social situations where it's putting me at risk and also other people at risk. I don't want to be the guy who's going to spread COVID-19 to other people either. So for me, I think the most valuable lesson that I've learned throughout this time is really understanding that I need to live less selfishly. I know what I need to do to not infect myself with COVID-19, but I think the entire world needs to look at how can I reduce spreading it to other people. Is going to this party where there's 100 people, or is this wedding where there might be COVID, is that really a good place for me to go? Because you need to think about other people and not just yourself. For me, I look at my grandpa who has respiratory lung issues, and if he gets COVID-19, it might be worse off than even me with a pre-existing lung condition. I need to realize that spreading it is part of the problem. And for me, understanding that giving up going to a party, staying home, and being safe is really helping not just me, but other people that are even more affected than myself. So I think everyone's now getting a glimpse of what it's like to live with CF, some of the things that we have to do every day, but it's important that you do what you can to stop the spread and realize that there's others that are very affected and can be worse off than you. In February 2020, I was backcountry snowboarding in Japan with some of my friends, and unfortunately occurred a compound fracture to my femur, trying to do some really cool things, which ended up being a really stupid idea, of trying to jump a creek in the backcountry snowboarding with no emergency equipment, no help from emergency teams, just me and my 7 friends. And what ultimately led to the most excruciating pain, almost losing my leg, and ultimately could have lost my life very easily if my bone severed my femoral artery. Thankfully, I was with a bunch of my friends that knew what they were doing. They knew some EMT prep that they needed to do to get me off that mountain. It took them 3 hours to get me off the mountain. One of my friends had to steal a snowmobile and bring it halfway up the mountain to get me on it. They were hands and feet pushing me down this mountain, braced my leg with some ski boot lace and some ski poles, and somehow made it off that mountain, thankfully to them. I've overcome a lot of adversity, but this was something that I never anticipated happening. Being in a foreign country during COVID-19, in a place where they don't speak English, this was a really challenging time for me. When I should be on vacation, I'm sitting in a hospital bed in Japan by myself with no support. Sitting there, by myself, crying, like, when am I gonna get out of here? How am I gonna get home? What was I doing? And for me, those are the real life lessons that I learned. I learned that not only do I need to think about things a little bit more, but I thought I was living my life a different way. I thought I understood the risks. I thought I lived my life one day at a time. Some of these things, I wasn't living like that. I sometimes just brush off CF with humor. I sometimes just say, oh, there's no risk here. But really, I lost 8 of my 9 cat lives that day. And what I've learned from that experience is I need to continue to live one day at a time. I need to continue to thank the people that got off that mountain. Thankfully, I have friends and family who are willing to do whatever it took to get me back home and ultimately get me the care that I needed. This was probably the craziest time of my life, and I've learned a ton from it. I've learned that, you know, living a life full of risk like that and not thinking about it is, I need to grow up and think about these things, because I want to live a full life. I have a lot of things I want to do. It's important for me to grow from that experience and learn that there are consequences in life and that I need to think about my actions. CF has been a very isolating disease for many, many years. And I think it's important that as a CF patient myself, that I find ways to connect with other CF patients. My mom and dad, my healthcare team, friends, coworkers, they are a great sounding board for a lot of things, but it's more important for me to connect with other CF patients, because I learned so much from their stories as much as I hope that they learn from mine, and we can really understand each other so much better. But because CF, we can't meet face to face all the time, and then you have to stay 6 feet apart, it's very hard to connect with other patients. Luckily, we're in 2020 and it's a virtual world, and social media, Skype, FaceTime, all these ways are ways we can connect with each other. I've been lucky enough to benefit from all of the work that other CF patients have done that are older than me, and being able to learn from them, and even the research that they have done for medical breakthroughs like Trikafta and other therapies that have come about. Those people have paved a way for me, and it is now my turn to mentor and pave the way for the younger generation. I've been able to connect with people like Max and other patients. And for me, it's such a motivating experience to be able to mentor and learn from someone like Max. I was introduced to Max and his family when I was very young, and Max was even younger. And I got to learn from a young age how to mentor and see me as a role model for someone. I thought that was the most crazy thing, that someone would look up to me. As I've gotten older, Max and I have been able to connect and are very close with not only Max, but his entire family. I think it's incredible how healthy Max is, and I think it's a testament to his parents, to his brother and sister, to his grandparents, but most of all, to Max himself. Max is an incredibly humble and courageous, strong person. If you ask him to share why he's like that, he struggles to tell you, because he's such a humble person. Those are traits that we all can learn from Max, and that I cherish about him. Like I said, it's not just about me mentoring the younger generation, but the younger generation motivates me.
So when I was younger, I was very scared to play any sports. I didn't know any better. I thought since I had CF, that stops me from being able to breathe hard, because I just thought I'd get sick. So my parents introduced me to Nik, who was playing hockey for his whole life, and I didn't know anyone with CF. So that brought a lot of comfort to me to talk to him about it. And he was telling me how hockey's good for you. It's good for you to exercise your lungs like that. It's like doing treatments, but it's way more fun than doing treatments. So after I talked to Nik, that just totally changed my outlook on everything. So I'm a junior at the University of Minnesota. All summer I was planning on living here, but my parents were like, we're totally okay if your doctor's okay with it. So I called my doctor right away after talking to my parents. I was like, I still would love to move back down in an apartment with my roommates and all my buddies, because I don't want to miss out on these times in college. You're only here for 4 years. And he was just telling me, he's like, you're very healthy. I trust you'll take all the precautions needed. And he let me move back down here. And then about a month and a half ago, like end of September, I got exposed to COVID and I tested positive. Felt fine when I got tested. Then I took all the precautions, obviously. I quarantined. And during quarantine, I had the night sweats about 2 nights in a row, and that was it. And when I told my doctor, I usually only do my vest and nab once a day. He was very okay with that. And he said I had to start doing it twice a day again, which kind of a flash from the past. But so during quarantine and even for a couple of weeks after, I was doing my treatments twice a day. And now I'm back to like running again and doing just my treatments once a day. And still just gonna keep living my life, but making sure I'm taking all the precautions. So my role for raising awareness for CF is not to make people feel bad. That's not what I'm here to do. I was dealt this card and like I'm gonna deal with it on my own. And a huge motivation to me is that since I was younger, the medicine and like the advancements in it has been crazy. Like it's already been a year since Trikafta came out. And I started Trikafta January 2nd, and that's been a game changer for me. Ever since I started, I honestly haven't been sick other than the 2 nights I had the night sweats with COVID. So my goal when it comes to raising awareness is to just motivate people and show people that like it's a livable life if you do everything you need to do and if you have motivation and a good outlook. And yeah.
It's important that people get involved, spreading awareness, attending events. Cystic fibrosis is such a small patient population that it's going to take a community to reach these breakthroughs, just like Trikafta. So what can you do to get involved? Attend an event. You don't have to go to the gala. You can go to the Brewers Ball. You can go to the Great Strides Walk. Spreading awareness is half the battle. It doesn't take billions and billions of dollars to make a difference. It's talking about it, it's sharing stories like Max, it's sharing experiences and helping our community to build on something exactly like the CF Foundation has done in the last 30 years. If you look at when I was born in 1990 to where we are today, it is a night and day difference. So what I would encourage you to do is to go to the Great Strides Walk. Share a story on social media. I think the biggest thing that we need to realize is I've been lucky to benefit from Trikafta, but there's 10% more that aren't able to benefit from this drug. That breaks my heart. I've been so lucky to see the benefits of it, but there's 10% more that haven't. Those people need our help. Those people need us to spread the awareness. Those people need us to fight for them. If we don't fight for them, who will? It's my mission to do whatever I can to help those 10% find something that they feel like they're not getting left behind. I find hope in that, and I hope everyone here can see that there is so much more hope than what we sometimes realize in everyday world right now. If my story, if Max's story isn't a testament for hope, I don't know what is. We can do it together, and I promise you one day in my lifetime, CF will stand for Cure Found. Thank you for everything you all do. My life is better for it. Max's is. We are all thanking you for the millions of dollars that we've been able to raise in the last 30 years of my lifetime. Here's to the next million, and here's to the next breakthrough so we can say CF stands for Cure Found. Thank you for your time.